politicians, you have all sorts of different entities, making bets. Our team is better than your team. Doesn't sports feed into that tribal mentality? It does. It does. Almost to the point that we're willing to loot and destroy our own cities when we win. We're so happy, let's go destroy something. So I think it's a fair question to ask yourself. Is her decision not to follow the death penalty in this case have something to do with the fact that he's a black man and she's African American? Does it? Is that not a fair question to ask? Did she all of a sudden get, look, she's an attorney, so you can't trust anything that comes out of her mouth. She's not going to come up there and say, well, I can't put a brother in jail. You can't. She's an attorney. Attorneys, they know how, I don't want to say they're trained to lie, but they know how to twist words. Depends on what is, right? It doesn't take long. All you have to do is watch Senate testimony to realize that these guys know how to twist words to meet their objective. It's not a far stretch. Not that difficult to figure that one out, guys and gals. But you got to ask yourself. But Rick Scott, regardless of what her intentions are, she fails to follow the law, the will of the people that have put her in that position. And so she has been removed. He didn't fire her yet. Now, I will tell you, there are state legislatures that are actually trying to defund her budget because the governor didn't fire her. He just removed her from the case. He said, look, you cannot sit on top of a potential capital case because you are not going to go and apply the full measure of the law. But he didn't remove her from her position. He's like, well, you can deal with petty crime or do whatever you want to do. So I think Governor Rick Scott, I think you got to fire her. She's not willing. This is judicial legislation at its finest. She is applying, she's using her position to now create or to alter a law. And if there's anybody that deserves the death penalty, it's this clown. But I'm going to say what I'm going to think. And right now I'm thinking it's because it's a brother. And now you got the NCAA involved. Now it's a race issue. It's no longer a legal issue. It's a race issue. They made it when she aligned and when they aligned with her, it is now a race issue. They've turned it into a race issue. So let's make it a race issue. I think now that the fact that she did turn it into a race issue even precludes her even further from doing her job. Because does that mean is she going to treat African Americans different than whites when prosecuting them? Is she going to treat... Now, I know there's a huge disparity between African Americans and whites and other races in prosecution. There's a huge one. I mean, let's be honest with you. But that's not, what she's doing is not going to remedy that issue. That issue comes about, by who can hire the best attorney, right? Economic things and the fact that your defense departments and stuff are so under budgeted. They are. I see that. I agree with it. I do. I see that there are, look, let's be honest with you. A white, affluent individual who gets arrested for marijuana is more likely not to go to jail and not to be prosecuted, get time off or get it reduced because, their family or whatever economic means they can hire an attorney that can migrate through the legal system. Law is one of these crazy things. It is not blind and it is not black and white. There are motions that can be filed. There are things, even though you're guilty as high heaven, there are legal wranglings, paperwork filings, things like that can get you off. And that's what you pay an attorney for. Unfortunately, that's what most people pay attorneys for, is to get them out of trouble. Right? It used to be you paid an attorney to make sure your rights were protected. That's what attorneys used to do. Now you pay them with the expectation of, I don't care if my rights are protected or not. I just don't want to go to jail, even though I did the crime or didn't do the crime. Right? That's why that's what you do now. But there's nothing wrong with that, because the state has got unlimited resources versus your very limited resources, especially with the forfeiture laws. The states will remove your, if they feel that your money in your bank account was ill-gotten or whatever, they'll remove it. So what kind of attorney can you buy then when you ain't got no money in the bank? So I tell people all the time, if you don't have a retainer with an attorney, you're a fool. Pay him now. Pay him before the government can take your money. And there's different organizations out there that you can get signed up for, especially you gun owners. And so that's why you join the NRA and different organizations like that, so you have that protection ahead of time. Have that insurance. But yes, so Governor Rick Scott has removed, and of course the NCAA is now involved. We'll see how that plays out. And by the way, she went in front of a judge because she was removed from the case, and now the knucklehead is Marketh Lloyd. For those that want to know, Lloyd, Lloyd. He's going to represent himself. Make this guy to try. Let me pull the trigger. I'll flip the switch. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not consciously objected to it. I'll push the plunger. Heck, make good radio. But the thing is that so that's going on. But yeah, she did ask a judge to rule in her favor to put her back on the job. And like I said, she's lucky she's even got a job. How long would you last? I'm tired of these politicians, these government employees who have or feel they have more rights and more privileges than we do. Right? Go into your boss and tell him you're not going to do something. And when you get fired, then go to a judge and say, "Oh, you can't fire me." What a knucklehead. What a brain. This just in the fact that she filed that motion with another judge shows me that she's incompetent to me. She's lucky she's got a job. Well, like I said, looks like if the governor's not going to fire her, which he should, can't say that quite enough, it looks like lawmakers are going to defund her office. Oh, yeah, show up to work. You're not getting a paycheck, though, because we're not going to pay you. So keep going. It's kind of like that the Office scene. The guy, hasn't worked there, but still shows up to work. So enough of that. We'll move on. Let's get moving on here. If you want to give us a call, we are live right here at Red State Talk Radio. Give us a call at 402-858-1938. Love to hear from you. See what your opinions are. Oh, here's a good one. Here. No, I don't know. Does this warrant the Snowflake song? I'm just dying to play this song. But no, I don't think this warrants it. This really doesn't warrant it. You have to wait. Don't worry, guys. I'll get it out. I'll play the song for you eventually. I'll play the song for you. I got another one, another gag reel that we'll be putting up there in a minute. But, crazy. As I was perusing the news yesterday, I was going out and just kind of looking, doing what I do. It's awesome. That's one thing I love about this job is that I get to surf the web and actually call it as part of my job. Right? Call it. It's part of my job. It's what I do. What are you doing surfing the web? Part of my job. But Evelyn Farkas, you guys know her? She's Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. She was on MSNBC. And she kind of said something. And I'm going to play the clip, and I'm going to see if you guys can pick up on what I picked up on with this. Just listen real close and listen to what she has to say. And then let's see if we can come together on the same conclusion as we listen to Ms. Farkas here as she talks with MSNBC reporter.
Well, I was urging my former colleagues and frankly speaking, the people on the Hill. It was more actually aimed at telling the Hill people, get as much information as you can, get as much intelligence as you can before President Obama leaves the administration, because I had a fear that somehow that information would disappear with the senior people who left. So it would.
So, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to kind of help you guys along. Not saying that you have to, but it is 7:30 in the morning. Did you hear? Get as much information as you can. Preserve the information. Preserve the information before you guys leave. Gotta preserve it. What information is she wanting to preserve? Well, let's listen.
Be hidden away in the bureaucracy, that the Trump folks, if they found out how we knew what we knew about the Trump staff's dealing with Russians.
Oh? Do I Scooby-Doo? Let's roll that back again. Let me just kind of roll that little clip back. I'm going to take it back, and I want you to hear this one more time.
We knew what we knew about the Trump staff's dealing with Russians.
We knew what we knew. We need to preserve. Now, like I said, this is Fracas. She is the DOD. She's at the White House. She's at the Obama White House, and she's instructing her fellow coworkers to preserve the data of what they know about Trump and his staff. Wait a minute. White House information on Trump and his staff and their dealings with Russia. How would you know that? How would you know? I mean, just let's continue.
That they would try to compromise those sources and methods, meaning we would no longer have access to that intelligence. So I became very worried because not enough was coming out into the open, and I knew that there was more.
Oh, she's very worried because classified information, not enough of it is coming out in the open. Is this our leaker, Evelyn Farkas? You know, is this, did she just go on the record? Oh, she did go on the record because this is out there in the ethos. This was on MSNBC where she said that. She instructed fellow staff members to preserve data. What data? Well, the data on Trump and what is an incoming administration and dealings were. So obviously it was unmasked at that point, right? Because she was concerned that the Trump administration would find out that they were monitoring them. The White House. That's what she said. It's her own words. I can't stress it enough. Let me roll it back and let me play it one more time and you can listen to it.
We knew what we knew about the Trump staff's dealing with Russians, that they would try to compromise those sources and methods, meaning we would no longer have access to that intelligence. So I became very worried because not enough was coming out into the open, and I knew that there was more. We have very good intelligence on Russia. So then I had talked to some of my former colleagues, and I knew that they were trying to also help get information to the Hill.
A lot going on today.
Yeah.
Mark
That's why you have the leaking.
Yeah, there you go. That's why you have the leaking. You have the leaking because under her direction, under her guidance, she said it, not me, under her guidance, her concerns, she informed her staff, her counterparts to get that data, to get that unmasked data, those reports, and to get it to the Hill. And it needed to be made public. Oh, really, honey? Well, I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Really? Well, guess